All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are breaking down something called the Life is Rich Wealth Ecosystem. Now, the most important word there isn't wealth, it's ecosystem, or even better, system. We're going to explore what it really means to have a disciplined system for your finances, something that goes way beyond just collecting more and more information.
Do you ever feel like this, just, staring down this long, kind of complicated street that is your financial future? It can feel huge, a total maze with all these towering options and confusing signals. You know you've got to move forward, but man, which way do you even go? And that leads to this really common frustration. So many of us, we spend hours reading the books, we listen to the experts, we gather all the right info. But when it comes to actually making progress, it can feel like you're trying to run up an escalator that's going down. So, what gives? What is the disconnect here?
Well, the concept we're digging into today has a name for this problem. It's called the knowledge action gap. And it's such a powerful idea because it explains exactly why so many of our best intentions just fizzle out.
This gap really breaks down into three common traps, and you might recognize some of these. First up, you've got educated without execution. This is where you basically become a walking library of financial knowledge, but none of it ever gets put to use. Then there's engaged without structure. You go to a seminar, you get all fired up, but that motivation is gone by Tuesday morning because there was no system to plug it into. And finally, enrolled without empowerment. You buy the course, you join the program, but then you're left totally on your own to figure out the hardest part, actually doing the work.
And this quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of it. It tells us the solution isn't about finding one more piece of information. The real game changer is having a repeatable process, a system that turns what you know into what you actually do. And just look at the contrast here. We've gone from that chaotic, messy city street to this clear, deliberate path. This image is the solution. It's a structured, sequential process. The big idea here is that real financial transformation, it doesn't just happen by accident. It follows a specific, intentional sequence.
So if the problem is a lack of a system, well, the solution has to be built on a new principle, right? Let's take a look at the foundation of this whole ecosystem approach.
And this is just so crucial. It's not about finding some secret tip or trick. It's about building a real pathway, a journey, not a shortcut that actually respects the psychology of how we as people truly change.
So how does this system actually work? Well, at its core is a four-stage process, and it's designed specifically to guide you from just being aware of some financial ideas to truly taking ownership of your own results. It's called the 4E process: educate, engage, enroll, and empower. That's it. This is the roadmap. Each step is designed to build right on top of the last one, creating a momentum you can actually sustain. So stage one, educate. This is square one. The goal here isn't to just throw a bunch of jargon at you. It's about building a rock-solid foundation. It's about replacing that knot of anxiety in your stomach with the confidence that only comes from real clarity. Next is engage. And listen, this one is huge because people don't quit systems. They quit when they feel isolated. This stage is all about creating consistency and accountability by putting you in a community with others on the exact same path, all supported by regular coaching. Stage 3, enroll. Okay, this is the moment of commitment. This is the bridge you cross from just learning to actually doing. Enrollment isn't just signing up for something, it's you making a conscious choice to fully participate in your own success by activating a real structured plan. And finally, we get to empower. This is the destination. This is where all that preparation, the educating, the engaging, the enrolling, it all comes together and turns into tangible, real-world results. This is where you execute, but with all the coaching and support you need. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. That 4E process we just walked through, it doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It's actually the framework for a much larger integrated architecture. This blueprint image is the perfect metaphor. The 4E process is like the intellectual architecture. It's the foundational thinking, the bones that hold the entire structure together. And that framework supports 3 platforms that are all connected. You've got the framework layer, which is the 4E process itself. Then there's an education layer, which delivers specific knowledge like tax strategy. And finally, the execution layer, something like a 90-day accelerator, where the actual implementation happens. You see, they all work together. So when someone decides to step into a system like this, what are they really saying yes to?
It's a really important distinction to make. This slide just lays it out so clearly. People aren't buying a temporary shot of motivation or just another course that's going to sit on a digital shelf. No, they are actively saying yes to structure and guidance. They're saying yes to disciplined execution and yes to a complete system that is designed for their success. It is a total shift in mindset. And this visual just perfectly captures the core philosophy. It's like these solid interlocking blocks. Each stage is essential, and it builds directly on the last one. You can't skip steps. I mean, education without engagement, it fails. Engagement without enrollment, it just fades away. And enrollment without that final step, empowerment, well, that just leads to disappointment. And that's the whole point. Everything else, all the learning, all the community calls, all the planning, it is all in service of this one single goal. It's not about feeling good. It's about getting real results. Empowerment is the destination.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. We spend so much of our time and energy just gathering more knowledge, but this whole system is really built around one powerful question. What happens when you finally stop collecting information and you start executing a plan? What could that change for you?